What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I've just got some Morgesh gameplay with a handful of my subs. Now, I don't typically just upload gameplay videos just because I like to have more informative videos, really kind of tell people, hey, this is how I do this, and more of those lines. I don't just like playing the game and talking about random things, but I'm going to try it out. I'm really hoping that maybe in the future I can kind of start to have these more gameplay videos and really just kind of grow the channel. But I ended up just doing a great job here in mid lane. We had some really good rotations from everybody, and we had a great match, and it was really fun playing with all you guys. I definitely want to keep, getting in these 5 stacks, and hopefully next time we can kind of get into a team chat of some sort. So I'd really like to get this Discord going so I can record voice chat. It's very hard, like I've said in my past videos, with PlayStation and their silly rules, and then since a handful of you are on PC, it would be nice to use something that, everybody can get in and we can all just record voice together. But besides that, we had a great match, and I just kind of want to play and really talk about some things that I see coming up in version 42 and just kind of let it go and see what happens. I will try to cut out some of the more boring things, but I'm leaving this beginning in because I'm absolutely just bullying this Gideon here in mid lane. Morgesh has such a great ability to bully most mid lane heroes, and without having some sort of rotation from your jungler or maybe even a support to come over there, which probably isn't the best idea, but she can really just bully the other heroes and get them out of lane. Now, I did manage to pick up red buff, and I headed over to this off lane. They do have a Greystone support, which is really odd, and with a Revenant and a Greystone, they're really able to put a lot of pressure in this lane, so I wanted to go help out Steel, and luckily we were able to push them back a little bit. But it's time to head back to my lane and continue to farm and maybe, keep this lane a little longer. Now, as everyone knows, version 42 is coming out, and I did not have early access to version 42, and I've really stayed away from watching a whole lot of videos about it. I want to go into it fresh, just like most of you all will, and believe it or not, y'all will probably have more knowledge of things than I do. Since my channel is kind of targeted more towards lower level players or just the less experienced players, I figured I would go into it as somebody that didn't really learn a whole lot about it. Of course, I did watch the Iggy video to see kind of how it is, and I've watched some real basic things just so I have a general idea, but I really don't know anything about the cards. I don't know anything about, the gems. I really want to go into it fresh to kind of see. The few videos that I have seen, it's mind-boggling how much is being changed. I had no idea that the changes were going to be so extreme as they are. You're only going to have 3 cards, but the 3 cards you do get are extremely, extremely powerful. And that's great. I really like that these things are being changed, and matches will probably be a lot slower than they are, or a lot faster than they are now, just because of the way everything's set up. But it also seems like just kind of my idea that carry heroes are going to need to be carried in the beginning, and then they're going to have to carry the team in the end. That it really seems like heroes now that, these slow starting heroes or these mid-game heroes are going to start out much slower, and the early game heroes are really going to shine. And I think with these cards that, kind of boost your rep boost your player level and things like that, I think we will see just an absolute ton of heroes that really didn't fit well, really come alive, since, you know, you'll be able to hit level 8 or 9 by the time, you know, the carries are 4 or 5, which, that's just kind of my idea. Of course, I'll know more once I get my hands on the game. And like I said, I didn't really want to watch a whole lot of videos just because I don't want to know everything about the game and not really get to experience it for myself. I've done that in the past with a handful of games, just kind of gone in, you know, learned everything about them, and then go in there and I know everything, and I don't really feel that sense of, you know, accomplishment because I'm not able to experience, you know, the changes on my own. So I'm glad that I kind of stepped away from watching a whole lot, and I'm going to be able to experience most of the changes on my own. Now, I've been able to stay in lane just crazy long time. The enemy team just has a really strange comp with that Greystone kind of doing his support role. They do have a Countess in the jungle, which, you know, since version 40, I have not seen a whole lot of people run Countess in the jungle just because the minions hit so much harder now, and she was always a very slow starting jungler. So they just kind of have an odd team comp. If you see there, I just kind of ran across right behind that Gideon. I think he's just completely unaware that I was there, so I was able to pick up both the river buffs, and, you know, I didn't really utilize them at all. I just kind of hit that Gideon, got him to back out of the tower, and I'm gonna have to shortly go back here because, you know, I'm low on mana, and I've got 7 points to spend. I really need to go back and kind of spend some of these points. So, in version 42, with all the changes, I think I'm going to focus on the mid lane and the support. Of course, I haven't really said who my favorite hero is or anything like that, but I actually really enjoy the mid lane. And I kind of became a support main just because the support was the least picked role. People didn't like picking supports. You know, everybody complained, oh, Muriel's terrible, and if you've ever seen my Muriel videos, you can see she's still a great hero. And, you know, we just had a lot of people just not want to play support. And of course, my very first master was FaZe, and I got FaZe before Wukong came out, so in less than 3 weeks I was able to get a master with FaZe. So that's just kind of saying how much I was playing support. But since then, I've actually slowed way down in the time that I'm able to play Paragon, just because making videos takes a while. But I am looking forward to really experiencing these new heroes. I do know that Order is the only affinity that has wards, but I haven't seen how the wards react, so I think, you know, I might try Order out with FaZe just to see if I can get some vision. Like I said, I have not looked at any of the cards, so I'm kind of thinking I might make a video, you know, wake up Tuesday morning, make a video just on really basic stuff for all y'all guys that are at work. You know, y'all can see me open a handful of chests. Of course, I'm not going to film me opening up all the veteran chests that I'm going to receive, but you can see me open a handful of chests up to kind of get an idea of what you might expect when you are able to play. And I might try out a couple of decks just to see if I like these certain things on these heroes. It does seem to me the leveling up fast cards, which I have not looked at a whole lot of the benefits, but the few games that I have seen, everybody uses these cards that are really, really fast cards. Oh, by the way, that was an amazing ult with the Countess ult. Oh, man. They definitely deserve to get that kill. But that was just wombo combo to me. Of course, it was on for me, but hey, that was great on their part. But back to what I was talking about, I think these level up cards are going to be a necessity for everybody. I think everybody's going to use these level up fast cards in the beginning, especially the off-lane hero and the mid-lane heroes, just so they can get a ton of experience and really snowball. especially since the XP is going to be shared between the support and the ADC. I really see all the solo heroes leveling up extremely fast, so those mid-game, early game heroes are really going to shine, and those late-game heroes are really going to struggle. And like I mentioned before, I think the carry's going to have to be carried, almost to the point where the support can never leave the carry until the carry's strong enough to get farm on his own and not worry about, you know, insta-dying. But we'll definitely have to see what happens when version 42 comes out. I am really, really excited about it. For everybody that played during Legacy, I'm sure y'all remember, like, the changes from Legacy to Monolith were just huge. You know, even though they did a handful of changes with Legacy before Monolith came out, the change from one to the other was so huge with just the pace of the match. I think it's going to be even more so now. I think, you know, Legacy was just this giant map that towers one-shot people until, you know, you built full tank, and, you know, just the complete meta changed with Legacy, or between Legacy and Monolith. The just way you played completely changed, and I think we're going to see that here. I think casters are really going to shine, and I would almost go as far to say as, if you are a very well-coordinated team, you could almost not get an ADC and just kind of deathball. It seems like if you can really punish the enemy team very fast, I think you might have opportunities to, you know, in the game before the ADC even has time to get fed. But, you know, that's just kind of my opinion, and without having any first-hand knowledge, I can't really say a whole lot. But holy moly, that triple blast thing for the ADC where they never have to stop running and just have shotgun bullets everywhere, that's crazy. And I'm really looking forward to trying it out. Now, I've been playing without wards for about 3 weeks now, just because I want to get used to not having wards. I think, although support, it sounds like if support or if order's the only real affinity that has wards, I think you're going to see almost every support have order affinity. Although I did hear that every affinity is going to have some kind of invis detection, it sounds like if that's going to be a gem or a card, that is going to be an expense that you really have to decide, hey, do I want to do a lot of damage, or do I want to see invisible people? To me, that's, you're really forced to make a choice on, you know, do I want to have vision on this very extremely rare circumstance, unless there's a Klari, of course, or do I want to, you know, really help my team out with some sort of vision or some sort of other card? And I really like that as well. If you see here, we got a great rotation with our support and ADC. We're able to clean up that Quang, and I don't quite get that Gideon low enough. I was hoping to with that ultimate, but he ended up getting out. If I would have got that ultimate off without getting stunned by Countess, I probably would have got him. I believe FaZe actually pulled him with her just a little bit of healing. He was able to escape with just no health at all. Unfortunately, you know, he gets away, but hey, we're still doing good. We're forcing him out of lane. We're just being an all-around bully. And man, I'm really having a lot of fun with Morgesh. I did end up picking up purple buff, and I did see Countess kind of slip away from our Sevarog, so I might go try to chase her, but I didn't want to leave too bad because something is going down in mid. Now, I went ahead and marked her so she knew I was behind her because I wanted to keep her out of our team fight. I'm not sure exactly if that was the best call, but I think she might have been able to go in there and do some damage to people that really weren't expecting her, which, you know, is really Countess's job. And I know from just all my experience with Countess, if I was in that position, I would have probably got a kill there, because she was fairly healthy and pretty high on mana at that point. So I think it was a good call. Might not have been the best, but hey, we ended up kind of not really anything happening there. We did end up losing our yin, but that's okay. We're going to come back from this, and like I said, we end up doing fairly decent in this game. Now, our lane is pushed fairly well. There is 3 heroes in mid lane, but I'm out of mana, and I'm going to be just completely useless. So I'm going to go ahead and back, fill up on mana, and head back to my lane. If they do end up taking that tower down, you know, oh well, there's not a whole lot a single hero can do in that mid lane by themselves without mana, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Now, we do end up getting this Greystone kill with, or Arrg does anyways. I think with just the way everything was, I don't believe he could have defended that mid lane tower, but that's completely okay. Right now, we're actually losing the tower game, but we're about to go take down this mid tower and, you know, catch back up to even, but we are winning the killing game, so our team is getting much more fed than their team, and right now we're still, you know, down that tower, or they've still got their safe lane tower, but, you know, it's no big deal. Like I said, we're winning the killing game, so that's great on our part. Now, I did end up just running right past that Countess. I guess she didn't see me there, but there's nothing I can do. They have a 3-man collapse. I'm gonna back off. I really hope this Yin can get out. FaZe is able to, you know, help out a little bit. I really want to get in there, but, you know, there's just not a whole lot I could have done at that point. But I end up running through the jungle. We are able to secure that Gideon kill, and I'm gonna head after this Kwang, however you want to name it. But unfortunately, Arrg's out of mana, and it's really hard for us to catch up to him. But Countess shows up. I don't know why she did that, but I able to mark her and get a real easy kill on her. Now, I am out of mana, so all I've got is basic attacks, but looky there, Greystone just came in to feed us. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, this team is very odd with that support Greystone. He's very unfed at this point. He's fairly low level as well, and he's just making bad calls. Now, the next 3-4 minutes or so are kind of that standstill. Nothing's really happening. We're pushing our lanes to them. They're pushing them right back. Nothing really is going on, but FaZe ends up actually going in on this Gideon, so I'm able to catch up to him and put a little bit of damage on him. I do have him marked, so if he does come back and I'm able to hit him with really anything else, I'm going to get him with that ultimate and go ahead and take him out. Now, he does stay in lane, and I have a feeling that we're going to get collapsed on. There's going to be, you know, an ultimate, things like that, and I really want to avoid that. Kwang does come in, root me, but I was able to pick up the red buff. I go ahead and hit that healing potion, and I'm able to back off. Now, I do have him marked, so I am not too worried about anything. If you do see, I do use my circle to run through him. Now, that is one thing I have learned with Morgesh. People don't expect you to do that, and when they don't expect you to do that, the greatest thing is, hey, you're going to get that kill, because they're going to have to turn around and chase you, and that gives you time for that mark to get off a cooldown. You hit him for that big burst of damage again, get a little more of your hive poison on him, and hit him with that ultimate, just like I did there. I really think that Kwang should have got that kill if I wouldn't have, you know, completely thrown him off by running through him like that. And then Arrg just set me up for that, you know, that baseball swing Gideon right to me. That was just great. So we're still really farming very well. I'm not doing just great with last hits, but one thing I have found is, as Morgish, I don't really do very good with last hits, just because she doesn't have that great wave clear like a Gideon or Gadget or something like that that can, you know, one-shot a whole group. I've got that real slow poison, and a lot of the times I have minions that will, you know, kind of steal the kill from me with that really low hit. Now, I do end up chasing in here, and I should have left. This was my just bad call. I end up trying to mark that Countess, but I didn't mark her. FaZe tried to pull me out, you know, just to keep me alive a little bit longer, but that was just bad on our part. Gideon, of course, is there to ult and clean those kills up. If I would have left, I believe we wouldn't have, you know, if I wouldn't have chased, but I'm kind of bloodthirsty at this point. I'm 8-3, so I was just making bad calls. I really should not have chased that kill, but we do end up getting their Countess down. Steel's able to really push this lane, and all in all, it wasn't the best exchange on our part. We lose a caster, a mid laner, and a support, but as you see here, we take down a tier 2 because of that massive rotation that they had. So it was a great fight in my opinion, although I think it was kind of needless. Now, they do end up getting another 3-pick on us just a few minutes later. I was not involved in that fight, so I just decided to cut all that out. I've kind of just been holding on lanes. Now, this Revenant did not see me coming. I'm just absolutely destroyed him. And with my superior level, and, you know, I'm doing decent on farm, he really has no chance against me at this point. Even if he would have, you know, ulted me or something like that, it wouldn't have been a problem for me. As you can see, I killed him in, you know, half a second. So I'm just kind of defending lanes right now. Steel was able to spawn back in, or I think he might have been alive, but he was able to rotate and kind of cover that lane. I head over to this safe lane to just kind of keep the minions off of it. Yin's able to show up, and we've got our minion wave there, so that siege minion isn't going to get in to hit that tower. And I'm going to now head back to mid. I don't want to steal that farm from Yin or steal the, you know, player experience. So yeah, I just head back to mid. Now I do see they do have a decent wave coming up, and that was, you know, a pretty good option for me to head back. I am probably going to need some help. So Severog does head over here, and their Greystone, I'm not exactly sure what he's building, but he's very, very weak. He's got to be building a crit build or something along those lines, and that right there is just the reason I don't like seeing crit or high damage builds on Greystone. You know, I should not be able to take his ult and, you know, go ahead and finish off the kill with, you know, just a couple of, you know, abilities. I like seeing a Greystone that can actually take a hit, and he just really couldn't. Now I do stay back to finish off that lane because I am low on mana. All I can really provide is a Mark or a Hive, and it's just better for me to get this lane pushing than it would be for me to go help them out. They had a pretty substantial rotation over there, so I just chose to stay back, and I kind of looked for river buffs. Fortunately, this one is here, so now I've got enough mana to actually do some damage. Now this Revenant he's not out of position, but again, I've almost got my ult, and with as easily as I killed him last time, I'm thinking we're going to be able to get this kill again. So I'm just kind of keeping this pressure up on him, but their team decided to rotate over there. I'm going to get out. I do have mana, but I want to go ahead and get the river buffs, keep them away from the enemies. Now this Countess decided to, you know, kind of go in on me a little bit. I'm able to mark her, she retreats. I'm not going to chase her. It's absolutely crazy for a caster to chase an enemy caster through their jungle. that's just asking for a real easy death, so I stay away from that and continue to farm this mid lane. Now I do have 7 points to spend, and our tier 2 is down, so now would be a good time for me to go back or rotate or something along those lines. So I'm just gonna stay there, get a few of the minions down, throw my hive on them so they take a little bit of damage, and I'm gonna go ahead and rotate. Now Gideon rotates as soon as I rotate, so I'm definitely going to have to be careful of that. And my team ended up unengaging from that fight, but I'm gonna go ahead, stay over here and try to make something happen. They ended up heading over to me, and FaZe saved me from that Gideon ult. We take out Gideon no problem at all, and if you see there, he actually used his teleport to engage, which is never a good idea. No Gideon should ever use that to engage unless they're using it to engage with an ultimate. But to be quite honest, you know, if you use your ultimate and then use that to engage solo, that's just going to be a bad choice. Now I have kind of fast forwarded here a little bit. I wanted to just kind of shorten the video. I am at 26 minutes or almost 27 minutes at this point, and I have never really made one of these just pure gameplay long videos before. So if you're still watching at this point, definitely let me know. Would y'all like to just see just full gameplay? You know, I'm not very good at commentating live because I like to focus and concentrate. You know, I am a sweaty tryhard, so if I play those games, I have a lot of like long silences sometimes, which I've tried in the past, and it's just very difficult for me to do well. But I can definitely work on it, so please let me know if that's something that you would like to see. And I will definitely try to make those videos, and I really want to play with y'all guys. That's why I've kind of set up the Discord and things like that. It would be great for everybody to get into a party. We can, you know, really make some fun, you know, great videos of, you know, just playing as a party and, you know, develop strategies as a team. The reason I did wait till version 42 is just because the changes, you know, strategies are going to be completely different, and I don't want to build strategies on a system that's going to be broken. I've actually got one of my other subs where we've been playing Fortnite together, and he has wanted to get into Paragon, or I've kind of, you know, bullied him into getting into Paragon. But I kind of told him, hey man, why don't you just wait till Tuesday, and then I can kind of teach you rotations, get into the game, things like that. There's really no point in doing it now because, you know, the game's just going to completely change in a matter of days. So that's where I'm coming from with the new team, and I'm really hoping that we can get into a group and a great team. I think that'd be just a lot of fun. Well, as you saw, I just absolutely deleted Revenant again. I'm going to go ahead and push this lane. They're having a pretty big fight in mid, and I would like to be involved in it, but I think with the rest of our team there, I've taken out their ADC, so I've kind of already done my part, you know, taking out a teammate. They were able to get Gideon and the Gray Stone, Countess and Kwang, whatever you want to call him, rotate over to me. So we're going to go ahead and pick a lane and push it, and we're going to end up wrapping this game up pretty shortly. We actually get a Winions win in this game, which is, that's always fun when you don't even have to do anything and win. So we make a play prime here at 37 minutes, and yeah, this is just kind of a slow win for us right here with that good old Winions win. Well, as this video wraps up, I'd just like to say I'm going to miss version 41. I've really spent a lot of time with version 41, and I think it was a great change. You know, after FaZe came out and just the handful of changes that we got with version 40 and 41. I like it. It was great, but it wasn't enough. It's still kind of it's still kind of basically the same. It just kind of had a little facelift. But I think version 42 is going to be just such a big change that it's really going to be enjoyable. And the core of Paragon staying the same, which I really enjoy that as well. It's still, a MOBA. It's not changing completely, but we are going to have some significant changes with the speed, and if you are getting just completely dominated by a team, you might just say, hey, instead of surrendering at 20 minutes, maybe they'll be able to completely beat you at 20 minutes. I'm really looking forward to that. The mastery changes, just all the changes. I'm really looking forward to 42. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for playing with me, guys. If you want to play with me, let me know down in the comments. Jump on the Discord that I've made, just any of those options. And if you enjoyed this video, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.